In the darkest corners of his laboratory, after so many attempts of mayhem, Patch has finally figured it out. A plan so diabolical it makes absolutely no sense. But what he lacks in facts, he makes up for in enthusiasm. His ultimate creation, the Doomsday Formula. He's been at it all wrong. His previous diabolical plans always asserted aggression. Nukes, world domination, a deadly wait, let's skip that. Deadly robots. But nothing would have been more effective than this, or so he thinks. A simple yet elegant solution. -21 equals to 25. How he arrived at this? Simple. He mistakenly read a history book that he thought was a cookbook. And from there, he combined two old studies. Let's take a peek at his madness, shall we? Firstly, let's explore what 25 means. A very curious experiment was conducted in the 1960s by John B. Calhoun. He created a utopia for mice. Food was abundant, no predators, an absolute paradise for mice. A fun land with mice. Why does that sound so familiar? Anyway, as there was absolutely nothing to worry about, the mice thrived. And thrived and thrived until overpopulation. And suddenly all sort of problems occurred. The females stopped caring for their young and refused to breed. Incredible violence started occurring. And the rise of the beautiful ones, as seclusive self-grooming individuals who have separated themselves from the population. By the end of the experiment, the Utopia has completely degraded into an extinction event. Because of this display of degeneracy, John Calhoun called this the behavioral sink. Still too soon, huh? This universe was his 25th iteration. Now this captivated Patch greatly, because how about that? A villainous act through the offer of paradise. Magnificent. Now, for the other end of the equation, -21. In 1901, Duncan MacDougall wanted to test a theory. He wanted to measure the weight of the soul. And interestingly enough, he managed to do so. Apparently, the weight is 21 grams. See, in Patch's concept, the soul is not the literal soul. The soul has always been associated with the human essence. In religious and philosophical thought, the soul is more than just existence. It represents morality, purpose, and consciousness. Patch imagines adding a negative to connote the removal of what the soul represents. In his conniving scheme, if he can offer the promise of paradise and convince civilization to lose morals, this would result into Armageddon. And there lies the brilliance of Patch's plan. Next to the cheese he had to throw in the trash because it was too spoiled. Because lucky for us, his concept and the basis of his formula is greatly flawed. Now, before we proceed in proving his mistake, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Every form of support could really help us out. Just like it if you don't like it. Just not you, Patch. We apologize for his attempt of sabotage. He's just unhappy that we're about to prove his plans doesn't work. Now, moving on. In the Universe 25 experiment, the most obvious difference is humans are not mice. We are much more complex in terms of biology, psychology, and society. So while the experiment produced interesting results, it's not a real guarantee that humanity will follow the same way. Next comes the negative 21. And while we give Patch some points to come up with something clever, no. Creative. Let's go with creative. The 21 grams experiment was never really proven. The sample size was too small, the loss of weight barely consistent. It was just not a solid experiment. So there, let's leave Patch to his delusions, as this plan's failure is inevitable. But there is an interesting thought to his contraption. And bear with us for a bit in overanalyzing this. Negative 21 equals to 25 may be a useless weapon, but it does offer an interesting thought experiment. A lesson can be learned here. One can interpret it this way. Losing our moral compass is just as having everything without achieving anything. This eventually leads to our inevitable, metaphorical sinking. Sacrificing our souls is similar to living an empty paradise that will lead to our undoing. There's a whiff of nihilism in negative 21, the belief of nothing truly matters, and hedonism in 25, the idea of absolute indulgence. Nihilistic hedonism is our downfall. But enough of this melancholy. This is getting too grim. Let's leave the disappointment with Patch, who kind of deserves it. See, life is not perfect, and doing the good thing is never easy. Self-improvement, progress, and success is the product of struggle. Growth may be painful at times, but stagnancy is way worse. It's really easy to step into that very fine line into the comfort zone. However, that's part of growth. The line might be very thin, but the discipline of resisting that temptation builds character. The world will always give us obstacles to test our resolve and character. But if we can weather those hindrances, learn from them, then growth is the inevitable outcome. The Doomsday Formula, negative 21 equals to 25, is a comforting lie. An illusion that suffering could be avoided, that meaning could be fabricated from emptiness. So while Patch wallows in the failure of his obviously flawed plan, remember that we are not meant to sink into false comfort. Purpose isn't found in indulgence or escape. It's forged through struggle, shaped by effort, and earned through perseverance. Because true purpose is not found in surrender. It's built by those who refuse to sink. Because in the end, negative 21 was never meant to be 25. Thank you very much for watching. Our next video will cover the certain drive in all of us that sometimes holds us back and explore what it wants. We hope you get to watch it, so please subscribe to our channel to support what we do. And if you want to talk about some eccentric concept, express an opinion, or see more of Patch and his shenanigans, please let us know. In the meanwhile, please enjoy some of the content we've created so far.